Well, hello, my name's Treesap, and I'm here to talk about Palworld. This game's an interesting mix between Pokemon and Ark Survival Evolved. That's the best kind of just generalization I can kind of give for it. And I played a lot of games, not particularly Ark clones, but Pokemon-inspired games. There are a whole bunch of them, which makes sense because Pokemon is old enough to the point where there's so many people in their 20s and 30s that play this game at a very pivotal point in their life and really cherish that game franchise up until today. So it's obvious to say there will be people who make games inspired by it. And this one does an interesting job because those open world survival elements, you have to worry about the cold, the hot, you have to worry about feeding yourself, and also elements of feeding your pals. And that Pokemon element is what really kind of sold me on the game, because the whole open world survival thing, I got tired of that a long while back. But traveling through the world, which is pretty big, I will say, and catching all these different pals, there's a good variation of them. There's over 100. And the fact that your character does level up and stuff, which is a common thing for these type of games, or really games in general a lot of times. And that kind of helps you, because you unlock technology, which kind of assists you in unlocking better spheres. I always pronounce that word strangely. But spheres are basically your Pokeballs, and there's different kinds of them, just like in the Pokemon games. So your progression helps you not only catch your pals more efficiently, but also helps you unlock some cool things. And your pals can actually do work for you. So your pals can do work on workbenches, they can cook, they can gather materials, they can do all these cool things. And it actually gives you an element to where they're not just for battling, they can do all kinds of stuff. You can even butcher them and kill them and eat them. And you will have to go out and kill a few pals, usually wild ones. I wouldn't recommend killing your own. You can just go out in the world and kill any number of them. Or you could get a little breeding facility going on and just have kind of a nice little slaughterhouse going. But the interesting element is the battles. So you have your own ability to actually fight. As you progress, you unlock different weapons. You have melee weapons, but I primarily only use crossbows, guns, things like that. And usually my pals will do any type of melee damage. And there's a wide variety of abilities and stuff. And there's really something here in this game that, once it's fleshed out, will probably be really interesting. I didn't play really any with other people. I mostly did a solo. And I would say I probably missed out on some elements that you could really only experience if you're playing with another person. But I kind of just wanted to play this by myself and have my own little chill experience and kind of get to know the game. And for what I've seen in the world, there's probably some type of story building up, because there are these sites, these boss fights against other humans that have their own pals, usually just one. Really, has always been one. I don't know why I say usually. And they're pretty strong. And fighting them, you can unlock more points. So you have two types of points you unlock. You can unlock from leveling up. You can unlock them from basically unlocking these fast travel points. You have technology points, you have ancient civilization points, and they each give you different things you can unlock. The basic technology points are the most important ones, really, from what I've seen, because there's not too much stuff in the ancient civilization tech stuff yet, so all the main things you're going to want to get are in your main technology thing. And there's a wide variety of stuff. I haven't maxed out my level or anything like that yet, but I'll do that in some time. And plus, this game is in early access, which is very commonplace when it comes to these survival games. And there's a lot of stuff to be worked on. I would say there are some performance issues that I had, but nothing major whatsoever. There was nothing that made me think, oh, this is unplayable mess. And of course, that'll be variable based on what type of PC you're using, what your particular components are. But for me, besides for some frame drops, and some of that might have been because I was recording, so we had a little possibility of error and stuff for that reason. But there's something special here, and I think it was made by a very small team as well. And it's definitely something, once you kind of get into the mix of everything and you kind of get into a flow of playing through this game, it can be a pretty addictive experience. And I would say this is more of an initial review. Maybe when I put in like some serious hours, maybe like 100 or so, because right now I'm around 30 hours in, which I feel like is a good enough amount of time to kind of give my opinion of the game in this state. And especially, like I said, early access, so there's going to be a lot of progress on this, and I hope there is. This game's doing pretty well, at least from everything I've seen, so hopefully that inspires creators and the studio working on this to really take their time and make something really good. It's already good, but you know what I mean. Something even better than it is now, because it is a work in progress. And I'd recommend it. If you haven't heard about it or checked it out or seen anything about it up until now, you should give it a chance and sink some hours into it. It's a fun experience. And yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for listening to me ramble shortly in this video. And yeah, peace. I'm out.